Getting to know you, getting to know all about you.
I'm Rob Grimm. I work at two places, Rob Grimm Photography and Torque Design. I am a commercial photographer as well as a furniture designer. Photography I got into when I was a little kid. My father was into it. My mother gave me a little Kodak X15 Instamatic camera when I was 8 years old on a family trip to Santa Fe, and that kind of was it. It took hold. Well, I started in St. Louis at Ferguson and Katzman. I'd been in Chicago for a few years working, as a freelance assistant up there, and then I got a full-time gig down here with what used to be Ferguson and Katzman, and I was, full-time assisting with them and putting my book together at night, and it just came to the point where I had to cut the cord and make the switch. It's a really, really difficult transition. A lot of assistants don't make it from assistant to full-time photographer. And this whole business is relationship based. So it's very difficult to go from being an assistant to being a full-time shooter and to have clients trust you. I think building those relationships is tough. It takes a lot of time. And I think St. Louis is a really difficult place too, because it's such an old city, it's such a relationship-based city. That's a tough thing to break into and through. And luckily Mark and I and Scott and I had talked a lot, and they were very supportive, and it was just a matter of I had to come off being an assistant and just work to get work. When I was ready to go on my own, I found the studio and told Mark and Scott it was time for me to go, and I moved in. I have a lot of students that come in here, and people look at this and think it's awesome. It's like, yeah, man, I want to be a photographer. And one of the things you have to tell them, you got to be secure with a lack of stability. I've never had job security in my life. I know that we are going to be bidding against other photographers on every job. It's been that way for 20 years that I've been in the business. It's not going to change anytime soon. I try not to take things too personally, because you might walk in and love my portfolio, and somebody that you came in the studio with might look at my portfolio and think it doesn't hit the mark. There's a lot of personal taste in this business, and what I do is I bring my vision to the client's subject matter. I just wrapped up a project for Chambord for both the liqueur and the vodka. And really, in many ways, it was a dream project. I was working with Box and Clever on it, and it's for the summer promotion coming up, so it's not out yet. But it was a great opportunity for me to mix multiple disciplines, in that we were shooting at a hotel called the London in West Hollywood, on the rooftop overlooking the pool, overlooking the cabanas, overlooking the hills of West Hollywood. So it was a great mix of location, environment, natural light, which I'm very, very good at, and product. And it was interesting. It was a very complicated shoot, but it was great. It was really a great project. The images that I've seen so far really look fantastic in terms of the retouching that's been done to them. And I think that's one of those projects that, number one, it's going to have high visibility. It's a great brand, and it mixes multiple disciplines that I think I'm very, very solid at, and it has our production value. So one other project that we just shot a couple of weeks ago was for Bacardi Flavors, and it was a very interesting project in that, number one, time frame was crazy short. We had very little time to produce this, and once we got final approval, and even when we were getting approval, it was changing almost moment by moment. But we were basically shooting bottles, and they had to look like they were on lava rock, which we created here in the studio, sculpting it and painting it and doing that all here. And another bottle that had to be on ice, a huge slab of ice with drinks on ice, and we had to have the ice, cracked and looking like this bottle was really kind of having an impact on the ice, which was quite honestly a lot of fun. And it's really amazing to me that sometimes I get to do this, and it's not just volunteer work. Somebody's really paying me to do this because it's so much fun. I think we're going to see the studio grow in multiple ways. I think we've had a great luxury of a lot of repeat business, and I think that we're going to see that expand. Some of the brands that we work on and some of the clients that we go after being just more regular, repeatable in some of the things that they do. I see the technology of this place only increasing and expanding with the motion as well. For me, doing liquids and doing food, expanding that into motion is without question the next step. So I think we're going to see a big expansion in technology and capability of the studio. I wouldn't even be surprised if we saw the size of the facility grow quite drastically.